You ready? Ryan, you good?
C2.
Yep, rolling.
All right, I am also rolling.
Tell me when I'm in.
In.
Are you ready for me to sit?
Yep.
In?
Yep.
Okay. Rolling?
Yep.
All right. This is Knockman, Jor's house, scene 2, take 1, Ilana.
Woohoo!
Thank you, Matt.
Okay, so as much as you can, you're going to look at me, all right, and very, very informal. I might ask you to repeat some stuff. I might ask you to
Okay.
give me a full sentence, but
Okay. Oh, I think I just pulled the wire. Did I just pull the
we
wire?
can fix it. Ron, you want to come take a look for a second?
Is it?
Look for Bill's You'll fix it, right?
Oh.
If you can't see it, it's fine.
That's what I'm asking. Can you
Come
see
to
it?
the front. See?
You see it? Probably. I just
Yeah,
pulled.
yeah,
Can you see it?
I just pulled it probably. Here, let me. Is that?
You see on the close?
Not sure.
How's that?
Now your hair's covering it.
Her hand.
Move your hand for a second.
Yeah, that's
Good?
nothing.
Just put these two. All right, who's in the kitchen?
Oh, someone's having. Oh, who's in the kitchen? Who's in the kitchen?
He's leaving. I'm gonna wait till you go, just because we heard the ding. Okay, ready?
Could you have a mirror? Do you really? Oh, your phone. Oh, you're great. Thanks. Awesome. I love being on camera. You know that, right?
I do.
Okay, it's good enough. Go ahead.
1 second, actually. I just remembered that we can turn
Oh, the backlight's
our
on.
clip back on.
Or what now?
The backlight's on.
We didn't turn enough for
Oh, yeah,
the gentleman, but with her, we can use it.
If you need me to
Okay,
adjust it.
now we're ready.
Okay, so my first question is, how would you describe your father-in-law? Describe him to someone who never met him.
He's very smart.
Give me it in a full sentence.
Oh,
My father-in-law.
okay.
Or whatever you
Right.
want to call him.
Okay.
What do you call him?
Dad.
Okay.
So I should call him.
I mean, you could say my father-in-law, or you could
Right.
say dad. You don't know.
Okay.
Look at me when you talk.
Okay. My father-in-law is fabulous. He's smart, super educated, kind, warm, extremely generous, and home run as a father-in-law.
Good. Tell me a little bit about him. Tell me what he likes to do. Just I want to get you talking a little bit.
Okay, it's just getting me comfortable because I'm so not.
I can tell.
What does he like to do? He likes to work. He works very hard. He works a lot. He makes a lot of people very happy and beautiful. He loves to swim. That is something that he enjoys and he does on a regular basis. And he loves spending time with his family. And he loves being on time. He loves Pesach with the family. We always have a wonderful time together and enjoy ourselves. He loves his friends.
Good. Remember the first time you met him?
I do.
Tell me about it.
Well,
Tell me what was going on.
the truth of the matter is, I think the first time I really met him was we had a bris, I think it was, or Pidyon Haben, I think it was for our friends Idit and Yosef Agus for their son. And I was invited because I was friends with Idit, and Jor's parents were invited because they were very close friends with Idit's parents. And Jor and I were friends then, very close friends, and we had plans to go to a football game, and this party was in Lawrence. Jor was not at the party, but I was meeting him after the party, but I didn't have his address. So someone pointed out to me where Jor's parents were sitting, and I went and I introduced myself, and I asked them for their address and how to get there. That was probably the first time I met them, and then I met them when Joe and I were already dating. And, it was one of those 700 questions, come join us and let's meet you. But he was great always. Joe's father, very relaxed, very warm, very embracing, kind. And he always had a great sense of humor. We laughed.
What were your first impressions?
Of my father-in-law?
Yeah.
A little bit intimidated, I would say, just because he's very accomplished and but at the same time, once you meet him, that sort of fades because he's really such a nice guy, and he is very unassuming when you speak with him and when you meet with him, and very engaging, and I felt very, I felt like we had a very nice connection.
Tell me about Jor's relationship with his father.
I will tell you that I think there is no person who has had a bigger influence on Jor in his life than his father. To say that his father is a tremendous role model to him is really not even touching it. His father is someone who influenced Jor to be a wonderful husband, to be a wonderful father, to have a tremendous work ethic, both his parents. And he will speak with his father about everything, things that are not very important, and most definitely things that are very important. Decisions that are big decisions, he will not come to a decision until he speaks it through with his father, who is so wise and always generous with his time and his thoughts. He's the best. I mean, he's terrific.
Is there anything that you know about his background, his upbringing, his, living in Israel, his parents, that you think affected his personality, you think affected the way that he parented Dror and Iris, the way, is there anything that he was a medic in the army, is there anything that you noticed that said, oh, you know what, this is the reason he is who he is today?
I think he was raised by very loving parents, and he had very loving sisters. So that was, it comes across, and I think that's why he is the way he is in terms of his warmth and the way everyone loves him. If you tell them Nachman Rosenfeld is my father-in-law, I mean, then you're sitting there for 5 minutes with people telling you how much they love him, how much they adore him. I'm not obviously only talking about his patients who are so, pleased with him, but his community. He is really someone who stands out in that community, whether it's in the shul or just around town. Everybody adores him. I think it really stems from him being a regular guy because how he grew up and where he grew up. I think his parents were very, very loving and warm. And I think that army really gave him that medical background and that structure and discipline that he carries with him his entire life. Yeah.
Okay, good. Tell me about, you mentioned his reputation as a doctor. Tell me a little bit about that. Does he have a good reputation as a doctor, as a surgeon?
His reputation as a doctor is excellent. I mean, he is a 5-star plus doctor. He has offices, and I mean, thank God he's approaching a very big birthday right now. He still works full time. He still has patients, lining up to have him, do their surgeries for them. And he's very talented and very smart. And smart across the board. I mean, smart as a doctor, and everyone feels comfortable in his hands because they know at the end of the day the result is going to be wonderful. But if you speak to my father-in-law and ask him about any topic, especially when it comes to Jewish topics, he's amazing. I mean, he was the one in his family. You asked before about his family. He went to yeshiva, but I think he literally soaked in everything that was available to him in terms of knowledge, and whatever was given to him, he absorbed and remembered. A lot of the times we learn something and then we have an exam, and the next day it's like, whatever. But my father-in-law, you could ask him 60 years later, he will give it to you and explain it to you. That's also why he's such a great grandfather to the children, because he gives them the time and attention anytime they have an exam, work in school. I can't tell you how many A's he's gotten. So,
I'm going to get to the grandfather thing in a minute, but I want to go back for a second and touch on the Judaism part and the Torah part. How important would you say that Judaism and being a Jew and studying Torah and all that stuff is to him?
Judaism and Torah is a tremendous value to my father-in-law. It's who he is. He loves being part of the Jewish community, and he is very knowledgeable in terms of everything, in terms of the Parsha, in terms of the Gemara, in terms of anything and anywhere, sources, he can just pick it up and explain it to you. I feel like he could have been, he might even be, I don't even know if he has smicha. If he does, it would not surprise me, because he is so knowledgeable in every topic.
We heard he does.
Have smicha.
Sometimes he does.
Okay.
We also heard that he's like an expert in Israeli politics.
That's true. I should have mentioned that as well.
You can go ahead.
Okay.
You won't hear me.
Okay. So, one of his favorite things to do, it's he has a stack of Israeli newspapers on his dining room table, and my poor mother-in-law drives her crazy because he used to just take them and throw them next to him like a pile of Israeli newspaper garbage. Once he would read them so quickly and have so many on a regular basis. He knows exactly what's going on politically in Israel, and he has his opinions, as most Israelis do. And it's if you know my father-in-law, you know that's something very important to him. He keeps up.
Good. Let's go back to him as a grandfather. Start with, do you remember, your family made him a grandfather?
Right, that's right.
So do you remember that moment? Do you remember the first few months, the first year when he became a grandfather, and what did that mean to him?
When the children were born and very little, and especially our oldest son Zvi, when he was born, we spent a lot of time at Jor's family's house. When he was born, it was amazing, and my in-laws and my father-in-law, they were in love with this little beautiful baby Zvi, and they spent time with him, and we spent many Shabbos with them at their home and many Chagim together, and he was such a joy to them, such a light. And my father-in-law has always been to all the children, and I can probably tell you how in each way. But with Zvi, he has had a very special connection to him. There aren't many people, I mean, there are many people, and Zvi loves a lot of people, and a lot of people love Zvi. But there are really a handful of people who connect with Zvi in a certain way that is meaningful and touches Zvi and brings out something in him. And I have to say, my father-in-law has always been that person, or one of those people. He is easy with him. He makes things, special for him, and in a way that's not, it seems effortless, honestly. It seems like an effortless relationship, and it's who he is. It's really his essence.
Talk about his support of you guys and your family over the years.
Okay. My father-in-law has been a great support to our family over the years. Ever since Dror and I were dating, engaged, and certainly once we had a family. I mean, in terms of anything, financially, always tremendously generous and supportive. But more than that, we knew that he was someone to count on. We knew that if we needed advice, and we did need advice, especially when we were younger and newly married, and especially when Svi was born and we, were raising him and the other children as Pinchas and Sarah as well. He was always that person that you can call and speak with, and his opinion always mattered because he's so smart and he listens in a way that you're heard and understood. And there's nothing he wouldn't do to be there for his family, and yeah.
That's great. Tell me about his relationship with his grandchildren now as they're older.
Okay.
And I say his grandchildren, I mean all 5 of them.
Right. I feel bad I didn't talk so much about Pinchas and Sarah. Should I talk more about them?
No.
Is the stupid wire getting in the way?
No,
I
no,
feel
we're
like
fine.
it's not
The hair's
getting,
covering it.
hair's covering the wire? Okay. Okay.
Again, the question is about him as a grandfather.
Okay.
With his 5 grandchildren older now.
Now that the children are older, I will say he's still very connected to all of them, all 5 of them. Sometimes the way he is connected to them gives me a good laugh. Pinchas and my father-in-law, they are so funny when it comes to technical things and Netflix and flights and anything that has to do with technology. Pinchas is always the man, but the 2 of them, it's very funny. Movies and, he's, it's a special connection he has over there. Sarah is very motivated in school, and she works hard, and he is always there for Pinchas as well. Whenever it came to a Hebrew situation, Saba's the one. But it also spilled out into Gemara, into other subjects, English subjects as well. He's not just limited to Hebrew. Saba is well versed on all subjects. So very much there for them. Whenever he would come with Grandma for a Shabbos or a Yantif, there would always be a 5 or 10, maybe we got to a $10 question. Saba would throw out a question. Everybody would have to figure it out. Joey and Lily, because they live in Canada, it's almost like Saba and Grandma are another set of parents for them, because when they come, we don't really sleep over at this point much anymore because we're here, but Lily and Joey do. So they're literally in Saba and Grandma's bed and bedroom watching a movie with him on the big screen TV. It's cute. It's really nice.
Tell me about his family work balance situation.
Okay.
He works a lot.
Okay. I say this.
You can also.
What?
I don't want you to feel on the spot about anything.
No, all right, okay. Saba and Grandma both have an excellent work ethic. Everyone who knows them can see that very clearly. And when it comes to balancing, they do balance. Maybe it's a little tipped over to the work, but they will always find time for their children and their kids and their family, and everyone knows that.
Can you see him retiring? I heard he talks about retiring.
Never.
Tell me that.
Well, he's been talking about retiring for a long time. The truth is, I think at this point we're getting to that home stretch. I think that he's really seeing himself having a little bit of downtime, but it's hard to imagine because this is who he's been. This has been his life. And just give me a heads up, Saba, like beforehand, so I can schedule myself.
What has he ever given you advice that you remember? Anything that stands out?
I think that raising Tzvi and having a child with challenges and special needs was something that was, unfamiliar, and we all had to kind of learned together. And there were many times that I reached out to my, in-laws, my father-in-law, and we spoke about different types of possibilities and, whether it was educational, whether always, or anything medical, we always ran across and, listened to what he had to share with us. But across the board, he is someone that anything that you want to speak with about, it could be something minor, it could be something major. His advice is always so valuable. Whenever I hear Dror talking in the office, and I know it's a certain tone, I know he's speaking with his father, because it's a certain type of conversation with that back and forth, and he's very beloved by all of us, and we know that he's someone we can always count on and do.
What is there one particular character trait that you would like to pass on to your children that you see that you've learned from him, that Dror has learned from him? Even if it's not, even if you see it in Dror, or you see that he taught it to Dror and Iris, is there something that you think is important?
I think Dror and Iris are both very warm people, and people love them because of that warmth. I think Saba has that warmth. I think that they're both extremely generous people, and that is something they both learned from their parents, to be that type of giving person. And they laugh a lot, and we laugh a lot, because Saba has such a great sense of humor.
Speaking of great sense of humor, tell me about him on big family trips. What's he like? I know that you've done several Pesachs together.
So Saba is interesting on the family trips, because we all picture him a certain way, and then he'll surprise you. We were on a hike in Greece. We went to Crete a few years ago for Pesach, and there was a hike up a trail, and then there was the option to ride a donkey. And we were all debating whether or not we should hike it, we should go on the donkeys, and all of a sudden we turn around and Saba's on the donkey, ready to go up the trail. I mean, it was so funny. We all ended up going on donkeys, and those poor donkeys. But
I heard he also went on a camel.
He went on a camel in Dubai. We turned around, and Grandma and Saba were on their camel together before any of us even approached the camels. Very adventurous in a way that you would probably not expect. But again, we have very good laughs. And there was one time in Dubai, this was funny, there were programs in the morning, programs in the afternoon, and we tried to do both, but sometimes if anyone had to take a break, usually I would probably stay back if that was the case. So there was one afternoon that we were busy the whole morning, and I went back with the boys, and we go to lunch, and Saba went with everyone else to join them on the second part of the program. And then we go to lunch, and he's sitting at the table by himself. And we said to him, "What happened? We thought you went with everyone else." It turns out there was one activity he didn't really care for, and he said, "I'm out of here." And he said, he's going back to the hotel, and I remember this so clearly. He said to me, "You made the right move," he said to me. It was very funny. So, yeah.
Tell me about the Pesach and Seder's.
Okay, so I'm telling you all these nice things about Saba, who I love and respect so much, but I will say this. There is one thing that Saba has given to his children and his grandchildren that I still cringe about, truthfully. Every Pesach, there is this song that we sing at the end of the Seder, Chag Gadya. It's honestly, I'm sorry to say, it's insane. It's really insane. And I remember the first time George came to my house and we were engaged, and he insisted on singing this song. And at the end, including me, my whole family, were all looking at him and thinking, But when we go away as a group and everyone sings this song, it's very passionate and out of control, honestly. And I want the Seder to end late, because the later it ends, there are more people have already left the dining room, and that's a good thing. But the kids love it. Nobody loves it more than Dvora and my father-in-law. They enjoy it. Got to take all the wine and grape juice off the table, otherwise it's everywhere. It's a good time. It's a great memory, and it's a good time.
Where did the song come from? Do you know where he learned it from? Or where he got it from?
I feel like he must have learned it growing up in his home. It must have. It's not exactly a tune, so I can't really say that. I'm not sure. It's a good question.
Is there any catchphrases or anything that the kids always impersonate him doing? Is there anything that I said to you? What does he say? Anything that comes to your mind?
I can't think. I mean, there's nothing that comes to my mind. Did anybody else say anything? 'Cause
Yeah, in Toronto, they kept doing this sure thing. That he would always say sure to everything.
yeah, he does do that. He does sure. Yeah, he does do that.
And then now give me one big one.
Sure.
Okay, so I have one last question.
Okay.
And my last question is, it's a repeat question. I already asked it to you.
Okay.
And I just want you to tell it to me again.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me, how you would describe your father-in-law again. And I want you to tell me what he means to your family.
My father-in-law means everything to our family. This is a big birthday. He's approaching 80, Baruch Hashem. And if you look in Pirkei Avos, it equates 80 with Gevura. And it's not necessarily talking about strength. At 80, I mean, he's great and he's strong, but it's really talking about more of an attitude. And my father-in-law has a wonderful attitude. He is so nice to everyone. He's nice to everyone. It's not, you don't have to be this person or that person. He's across the board a warm, a nice, a kind, a loving person who can really speak to anyone, even when he comes to our house for Shabbos. I mean, it's funny. I'm guilty of it myself. When I travel, I end up taking this or that. But when my father-in-law travels, and I think this might be the Israeli in him, honestly, like, you've never seen anything like it, really. I don't think so. He takes a pair of pants, and he takes a short sleeve white shirt on a hanger. He's good. He's good, and that's it. It's a simplicity about him that really resonates with everyone. Yet, on the other hand, Baruch Hashem, he's so smart and successful, and I know, I've seen it, and I know this to be true. If anyone is ever in need, if anyone ever, is in a situation, the first phone call is my father-in-law, because he is just there to help, to give, no questions asked. It's just, his heart. And I think that's why we all adore and love him, respect him, appreciate him. But I think that if you turn to anyone who knows him, they will tell you the same thing about him. He's wonderful, he's special, he's just a fantastic person, and he has given all of us so much in life. We are all blessed by his presence every single day in our lives, for everything that he does for us, for everything that he is, such a role model, and such a, 80 is, I don't know if I mentioned this, I started off with this, but 80 equates strength, and that in Hebrew is gvura, and really that is my father-in-law. He is a pillar of strength that we all, hang on to and look up to and love so much.
Great. That's beautiful.
Good?
Yeah, that's great.
Is there anything that I didn't ask you about, or anything you want to say about him? Or
Anything that people don't know about him?
Let me think.
we've got a pretty good
Yeah.
Yeah, you
cover
hear
a
a
lot. I
lot.
just wanted to know if there was something that you thought of that I didn't think of.
Well, I could talk about how he walks in knee socks. I don't know.
Go ahead. Give me a
Okay.
Doesn't have to be long.
Okay. The best is walking with my father-in-law. If we go for a walk in Israel, there's a beautiful park right where we stay, or even if we go to Cunningham Park. And, usually people, when they walk, they're wearing shorts and a T-shirt or, whatever it is. And my father-in-law has such a unique look about him when he's walking. He is wearing his high knee socks that come up to his knee and his white Hanes T-shirt and his shorts, and there you go. Okay, I don't know if there's anything else. I feel like I
That was
might,
great.
but,
No, I think you covered it.
yeah.
I think you're great.
Oh, okay, good.
Bad?
No?
Painful?
No, just really, you guys make it
Not too
easy.
bad, right?
No,
I hope.
All right, let's cut.
All right,
Ryan?
and rolling.
All right, this is Nachman, Drawer's house. Scene 2, take 3, Ilana. What's that?
Yeah, Ilana addendum.
Ilana addendum. Epilogue.
Epilogue.
Epilogue, I like that.
You ready? Ryan,
Yes,
just make sure that we're getting good boom, okay?
copy that.
All right? Whenever you're ready, just look at me.
Oh, I'm here.
Sarah! 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 Okay, good thing she wasn't home for Dora's 2 hour.
Ready? Okay, whenever you're ready.
Wait a second. Don't you want to ask me a question
I don't even know what you're talking about. You said you wanted things you wanted to say.
about Pinchas? Okay, I like
Oh.
I like when you ask me a question. It gives me okay
Yeah.
about
Yes,
Pinchas's
the
name.
town
So
Pinchas is named after.
okay, that's good.
And after you tell me that, you can even give me a sentence, not a paragraph, but a sentence onto how you chose it.
Sarah,
No.
Pinchas, you guys have to be quiet.
Oh, here.
They're filming.
Yes.
5 minutes. And tell Sarah to stop screaming. Tell Sarah to stop screaming.
Ready?
Yeah.
Sarah.
I believe you.
Okay, so the question again is,
Hmm.
who's going to stand after?
Okay.
And tell me how you guys came up with that, and how did you?
Okay. Pinchas was named after Jor's father. Okay, sorry, try again. Sorry. Okay, let's try again. Pinchas was named after Jor's wonderful grandfather, Nachman's father, Pinchas. And I'll never forget, it was before the bris. It was the night before the bris. And we had other names chosen that we thought were more current and maybe more suitable for, our lifestyle, maybe. And at the last minute, we said to ourselves, he's Pinchas. This is Pinchas, name for Pinchas. We're going to call him Pinchas. I had the privilege of meeting Pinchas for the first time the evening that I went to speak with Jor's parents for the first time in their home. And he was so sweet. He was in the background. He was a very charismatic guy. And I think that Jor's father, Nachman, got a lot of his charisma from Pinchas. And I think Pinchas got his charisma from Pinchas. So it's one of those things that really trail down each generation. And it was an honor to meet Pinchas. He was a wonderful man. He was a wonderful father to Nachman, a wonderful grandfather to Dror, and history repeats itself because Nachman was and is a wonderful father and grandfather.
Do you remember Nachman's reaction to you naming Pinchas?
Nachman's reaction to us choosing to name our son Pinchas and call him Pinchas was very heartfelt. I think that he was extremely moved. He was very close to his father, and I think that it brought him tremendous nechama and joy that we have now a Pinchas in our family who's also so beloved, just like his father was.
Excellent. Good. Is there another point?
Okay. I'm going to mention the discipline, even though Sarah mentioned the discipline, and then the swings, and we're done.
Good.
Okay. What do you want to ask me?
Yes.
I need your cues.
Let's get the swings out of the way.
Okay, let's get the swings out of the way. Okay.
So what are some of the other things that your father-in-law likes to do when it comes here?
When my father-in-law comes to our home, there's one thing that stands out that he loves to do. I think if you ask anyone in our family, they will answer the same thing. Nachman loves to go outside and swing on the swing set, on the swings. Our bedroom faces the backyard, and there are sometimes it's an early Shabbos morning or an early Yantif morning, and I'll look outside. It could be like 6 something in the morning, and I will see Nachman swinging on the swings. So when we plan to put this swing set in our backyard, I don't think we ever incorporated the idea that Nachman too would have so much pleasure from this swing set that the kids loved throughout the years.
What do you think he's doing now? What do you think is going through his mind?
While he's on this,
Yeah.
while he's on the swings.
Why do you think he's attracted to the swings?
I think that it's just a nice sensory pace. It gives him, it's good for his soul, I think. It's very peaceful, quiet. He really is, a lot of the time when he's out there on those swings, it's only him. It's not a joint family activity. It is Nachman and the swings and the backyard and the beauty.
Excellent. Good. Okay, so now going back to similarities and what you think, Dror learned from his father over the years.
That's good. That's good, Yishai. I think that Dror learned and really took a lot from his father's model. And it's interesting because I think that there was so much growth over time, but seeing Dror now, there are so many similarities. He starts his day very early. He goes to Minyan every morning very early, and then he does his daf yomi, and he does his exercise every single day, 6 days a week. And it's like sort of like a machine, and he is so disciplined in how he functions, and that's really to his parents' credit. They are also, both of them, Nachman and Henya, are very disciplined people. They wake up very early to start their day, to accomplish and, have joy in everything that a day can bring. They don't waste time. Nachman is one of the most punctual people that I've ever met. Poor guy, he's waiting often for many family members in this family. Not everybody is as punctual, unfortunately. But listen, he's learned to have patience for all of us. And I think George learns also, the discipline, the patience. These are all characteristics that he's learned from his father. And I think that ultimately, Dror has an excellent work ethic. He is a terrific business person, and he enjoys what he's doing. And I think the key is really to do work that brings you happiness in life and provide for your family, which he has learned from his parents, how they always took care of their family, and Dror also always takes care of his family.
Good.
I think we're done.
Let's cut.
All right, cut it.
Great.